Everybody get up.
Welcome to Body Shop TV. My name is Chella. I love the music of that opening, don't you?
Yeah.
I love it. So as you can see, I'm doing this show by myself because my co-host is again late. He needs an assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
OMG. Anyway, I'm happy to tell you that we have some awesome entries for our t-shirt contest. The deadline is September 15, September 1-5. Get your entries in. $500 cash prize. We're going to announce the winner at our Body Shop Blue karaoke party on September 21 at Southside Seafood Restaurant in Lindenhurst. Tickets are $20. Get your karaoke on. It's going to be a lot of fun,
Cool.
So today's show is about drug and alcohol abuse, and the whole purpose of Body Shop TV is to share information with you about wellness and relationships to aid in the longevity of both. And the reason why we chose drug and alcohol abuse is because I happen to sit back and look at my circle of influence. And I had been talking with a lot of people here lately, and I realized a lot of my peers are either in recovery or have had a bout of drug and alcohol abuse where it completely changed their lives, a lot of their relationships, and create a lot of health issues. So I thought it'd be, quite apropos. So during the 2 hours of the show today, we're going to have guests coming in and out, sharing their stories. And I want to welcome to the show right now, Paulie, one of our favorite people, one of our honorees, our past Body Shop honors.
Yes.
Welcome to Body Shop TV.
How you doing today, Chella?
I'm on top of the world. You look kind of cool there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going for that redneck look.
And I'm a redneck woman.
There we go, baby. Country all the way.
That's right. So you want to share with me, you said, when I mentioned drug and alcohol, you said those are my two favorite subjects.
Yeah, they are. Because,
Why'd you say that?
I used to drink a lot.
You used to?
Yeah, and I used to party a lot. My lifestyle, it came with the lifestyle of being a biker, and just the more drunk you are, the more high you are, the better you rode, the better you fought, the stronger you are.
How can you be drunk and ride a bike? It's one thing to operate a vehicle with four wheels, but you're doing it with two wheels, more challenging.
Well, you have the wind in your face. You're 17 inches off the ground from death. You really are. You can't appreciate your life until you're doing 90, and you look down and you see that the road is literally at your feet.
That's
And
right.
at any moment, it could just jump up and get you.
Yep.
But you're just so fueled by rage from the alcohol, and then you do drugs so you can come back to life. So you really beat up your body. It takes a lot out of you, and you don't realize how much damage it's actually doing, besides to your liver and stuff like that, and chemically how it's messing up your brain, but physically from riding so hard and hitting bumps and taking some god-awful chances. After a while, your body just says, enough. It's either you're going to stop or you're going to crash and burn. So, and in the bike world, like I said, it usually starts off with a little bit of alcohol, and then the next thing you know, you get into a few fights, you got a few broken bones, then you go to chemicals, and then you like being on the chemicals, and then they just fuel your rage even worse, and your friends are right along with you. Yeah, yeehaw, let's do another line, do another shot.
Paulie, how old were you when you started?
I was 13.
13.
It was the summer of '69 in Center Reach. I was a young kid. I was different than the other kids.
How are you different?
I always had long hair. I was always into music. I gyrated towards the bikers because I saw how they were. They had that bond, that special bond amongst that no one was going to hurt them, and they were going to take on the world, and they were always going to be victorious. And some of the guys I hung out with, through the years, we've lost, but I never forget lessons that they taught me. Get knocked down, get up. Don't ever let your ass lay on the floor. Keep getting up, no matter what you do.
There's a strong sense of machismoism among
Yeah.
the biker community.
Yes. We are, at times we're arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
We don't mean to be. I get yelled at it from the club I'm with. I'm with a family club. And I said sometimes it bleeds through that I'm harder than what I'm trying to be. And what I try to stress now is I try to inspire people.
Okay.
Not to do the drugs, not to do the alcohol, not to follow my footsteps.
But look what you had to go through to get to that mindset.
A lot. Went through jail.
And a
went
lot of
through
years.
2 wives. You know, from 13 to 25, it was a
Mm-hmm.
blur. It was just drug and alcohol induced, and I didn't work. I partied and partied. And when I did did have a job, partying was more important than my job, so all my money went to my habits. And then eventually I got involved in the criminal part of selling drugs and got caught and went to jail. And yeah, it's an eye opener. It's just, you wake up one day and you can't walk to the refrigerator, and you realize there's bars in front of you, and you got to at that point for me it was like, okay, time to put on the brakes. You got kids at home. You're going to jail. Your life is over.
Back at age 13, did peer pressure play a part in you
Oh,
getting
none
started?
at all. Absolutely none at all. All my friends, I was an Italian guy, grew up in an Irish neighborhood. All the Irish kids, they like to drink. I like to drink. The next thing I knew, they kind of accepted me. But as I got more into leaning towards the biker community, their parents were smart enough to say, hey, don't come here. Don't follow him. So I was kind of like a latchkey kid. I was raised by my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So she had her own children and a husband, and she was a young woman. So how does a young person raise a young person? They don't. So I went where I felt I was comfortable, and that's where I ended up. I ended up there for a lot of years, and don't regret it. Learned a lot. Learned how to be a man. Learned some sort of idea of how I wanted to raise my children.
Mm-hmm.
In a violent world, I lived in a violent world, and I never brought that home. I never brought my bad moods or anything to my children or to my wife. I sheltered them from it, because at times it can get bad, and you don't want to bring that home to your wife. I'm with Annie 20 years, my partner,
Mm-hmm.
and she's endured not knowing when I went out with my friends if I was coming home. Is she going to get a phone call that I've been shot, or am I in jail somewhere? Am I in a bike accident? And she put up with it, and then my children, they really kind of like, do you need this? Do you need this? And they kept pushing me and pushing me. And finally I said, I'll walk. And that's what I did.
What was your drug of choice?
Oh, meth.
Mm.
I like the speed. I like to be on fire. I like to feel my skin on fire. And my alcohol was tequila. I was bouncing in a bar. I used to drink almost a bottle a night. And then between the coke and the meth and the opium, you get pretty, you don't know which way you're going.
Wow.
On one half you're drinking tequila, you're ready to take on the world, then you start smoking some opium, and the bottom starts falling out, you start crashing, and then you realize it's 2 in the morning and you got things to do, so you grab onto either the coke or the meth, and again, so your body is really, it's really not better living through chemistry. It's a hard thing. It's taking its toll on my memory, and sometimes my actions, me, aren't always so appropriate. It's like whatever comes to my head comes out my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a dangerous thing. So sometimes, that gauge is off. Actually, a lot of times it's off. And I get a lot of heat for it. But, my mind is a little burnt from the drugs and the alcohol. So, I'll be the first one to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the dumbest guy in the world, but, I ain't no rocket science. But there's times when common sense is a little bit better than shooting from the hip, and I shoot from the hip a lot, and that's bad.
How'd your kids respond?
My kids don't do drugs. They minimize their drinking. I mean, when I tell you minimize, my Michael, my Paulie, Anthony, Vinny, very rarely you find them in a bar. They, out of all my sons, like 6 of them are bodybuilders.
Awesome.
You know, I have a UFC fight. I have a son that you fought in the UFC. I have a son that's a boxer. You know, so they kind of saw what I did. And, yeah, I don't want to do that. You know, and a few times I was in the bar and my kids walked in and they looked and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm got to get out of here," because they couldn't handle me or my friends. So it scared them. It deterred them into getting good jobs and being good people. And you know, it also helped that I didn't bring it home. That's the big thing. You know, I didn't want my daughters to marry a guy like me. And I didn't want my sons to become me. And unfortunately, one of them did. And he's doing all right. I talk to him every day.
Good.
I hang out with him. I make sure that he knows what he's getting involved in. And it's scary. It's scary, you know.
They say 1 out of 3 children of an alcoholic become one themselves.
My daughter Rita likes to drink. She's a drinker. My son Christopher is also a drinker. And Christopher's got other issues. He has been diagnosed with skin cancer, and they thought they had, I guess, cured it. And it has come back tenfold, so he's really kind of like looking just to calm himself down. So he's, you know, but he does good. I thank God he doesn't drink like he used to. You know, so there are, my son Joe, my oldest son, he was very into narcotics, and he's finally calming down and getting away from it and realizing it's not the world you got to be in. And it's scary. You know, my one daughter owns a daycare, and one's a veterinarian, and so, you know, they really kind of like went completely offshoot to the left of minding their mother's lives, which I thank God. Move it.
So now in 2014, are you totally clean?
No, I'll never be clean. I'm more of a social drinker now. I don't go looking for it. I don't go to bars, even in bars. If I want to drink, I drink. If I don't, I thank God I have the willpower to say, you know what, I'm riding tonight. Give me a Coke.
It's not controlling you anymore.
Yeah, no more. No more. Neither are the drugs. I can't. I lost my stepbrother at a young age of 21 to heroin. You know, so I've had my moments in my life. I could write a book. And
You should.
yeah. Honestly, I'm your typical product. And I can actually say I'm a latchkey kid. You know, Mom died, I was 6. Back in the 60s, you know, I'm walking, my father tells me, I want to go see my mother, and he just puts it to me, "Oh, your mother's dead, she's not coming home. That's it, it's a wrap. Go home and cry." My father was a cop, so he was kind of like insulated himself from the world, and he was an alcoholic. And he married an alcoholic, so it was only natural that I was going to follow some sort of path of violence, and I did. You know, when I was a kid, they didn't have CPS and things to protect your kids. I went to school with black eyes. I went to school with welts on my body. If my stepmother wasn't beating me, he was. You know, I took the beatings from my siblings because I just looked at them and I knew they were smart. I knew I was never going to be, you know, the brilliant one. And nothing I was ever going to do was going to make those 2 people happy. So rather than let them beat my stepbrother or my stepsisters or my sisters, no matter what happened in the house, I did it.
You had this mindset at such a young age?
Yeah, yeah. When,
Well, you know, Paul, what they say is what you put onto the universe is what you get. So all that negativity, all those negative
and I did
thoughts.
get a lot of negativity. 3.5 years in jail, running motorcycle clubs, very violent people. My friends were extremely violent. I was violent. And there was a few moments in my life where I really had to, when you wake up and you're covered in blood and you don't know what it's from, and you say to yourself, Jesus, who did I hurt? Or what did I hurt? What did I
Wow.
do wrong? Where'd that moment go? And to this day, I'm almost 60 years old. I don't know where that 2 hours went. And my friends refused to discuss it with me. And for a lot of years, I was alone because they were afraid of me. And that's
Wow.
when I became afraid of myself. And that's, it's a destructive path. It really, it really is. It's, what I think is funny, most people tell me I need a psychiatrist. But I lived in a world where there was nothing normal. What was normal? Normal to see mommy and daddy hug and kiss, barbecue with your family. I grew up with, well, we're going on vacation and you're not. Okay, you walk in the door and your mother and father, well, my stepmother and my father had my bags packed and went, well, we're living in this house, but you're going into a shelter at the age of 9. It's not common for your father to shoot you. My father shot at me. So I've lived. So who cared if he shot at me? Who cared? When I almost lost my thumb in a knife fight one night. Who cared? No one. They just thought it was strange that I had my finger taped. No one bothered to look under the tape and see that the bone had been split. When I got jumped by 3 guys and then my jaw broke, my sister and brother-in-law's response was, well, you probably deserved it. My dad was like, crap happens. So who did I have to turn to? I turned to the people that I knew, other bikers, other people that were like, yo, man, you can't, this ain't going to happen to you. And they helped me take care of business. And you kind of learn to love them. And you learn to love the lifestyle. And it's not a weekend thing. It's, I do this every day. I ride my motorcycle every day. I am tattooed. I am the vice president of a motorcycle club. And I've sworn to every one of my members around the country that I will love and honor and protect and do whatever is necessary to protect your quality of life, even if it means I have to go to jail or I have to do things I don't want. But I will protect my ride family at any and all costs, like I will protect my own family.
Paula, you amaze me. Every time I meet with you, every time I see you, I learn more and more about you. And all of these stories that you just shared with me, they're very disturbing stories. It's
They
just
But
mind-blowing.
these are my ghosts. They're my ghosts. I sleep with them at night. As long as I can hold them in a box, they can't hurt anybody.
I'd like to speak with you some more, and I hope that there are people who are watching you that are in that 13 age range that can
They can reach out to
identify.
me. They can anybody can reach out to me. They can, find me on Facebook. They can call, go on AOL. I'm under Harley Man, LFDF. Any of these kids, you're frightened, you're lonely. Don't hesitate to pick up the phone. Don't ever be afraid not to talk to me, because if you don't talk to me and I find out something happens to you, I'm going to be really upset, especially if I can cut it off. So, there are ways through the Paul and Annie show, through the Madhouse, through your show as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Paula, we're going to take a break right now, and I want to speak with you some more when we come back. All right? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Old Spice body spray will make you feel so powerful to blow your mind right in front of your face. Goodbye. Oh no! It's like you guys, I don't. Power.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Oh, Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power!
Try this routine to feel fresh and clean. Pair Charmin Fresh Mates with your Charmin.
Oh, Old Spice body spray is too powerful to stay in its own commercial. That's right. Power. Old Spice body spray can change a regular smelling man into a man who smells like power.
Now, how is this? Wow, you know what? I actually do feel more powerful.
Potato chips! Power! It's me.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. My name is Chella. The body mechanic is on his way, as usual. I'm here today with Paulie. We're talking about drugs and alcohol abuse. And Paulie, you shared so many disturbing stories from your past. Did you have a role model at all? Was there anyone in your life when you were younger that you looked up to?
That I looked up to?
Uh-huh.
My ex-brother-in-law, Bobby Blazer. He was from Copiague. He was one of the local hang-around guys. He was, local tough guy, big man, like 6'3", 6'4". Taught me about riding motorcycles, and he used to let me sit on the back of his Ducati. And one night we were at a light on Merrick Road, and I got up to adjust my pants, and he left without me because he was so big he didn't know I was on the back of the bike. So me and Bobby, I broke my foot riding on a motorcycle with Bobby. He taught me how to ride. He showed me the way. In fact, I have a tattoo on my right hand of a fly, and he also has one. And this was to Bobby. This was like one of the first tattoos I got. And unfortunately, he passed before I could get to see him again. And he was a good guy. Mm-hmm. And I tried to model myself after Bobby. The sense of humor. Don't ever forget your family. Don't ever forget your friends. But always try to be the one that wants to calm the situation down, never to fuel the situation. But if you cannot calm it down, well, then really set it on fire and just let someone else put out the ashes. And that was Bobby. And he was a sweet, loving, big 270-pound man, 6'3". I mean, big boy. And I loved him dearly. He smoked, he tattooed, drove hot rods, drove motorcycles. He was a truck driver. I became a truck driver. So I basically imitated Bobby's life. But he was my hero. And one thing that always got me about Bobby, he was always funny. You can never be in a bad mood. And he found humor. Even if he fell down a flight of stairs, he was one of those guys, did you get the picture? Did someone did? And I'm like that. I got hurt one night, and my response to Annie was, did anybody videotape me getting hurt? Because it was fantastic. And I think of Bobby, because that was his, that he crashed. Did you get it on video? It was funny. You know what I mean? So there is that side of me that does love people and does love life. And that's why I get my humor from Bobby. He was just,
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was just a big, crazy old teddy bear. But yet he handled his business, like anybody else. In fact, I don't know if you're young enough or old enough, actually. There used to be a comedian called Chuck McCann.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my brother-in-law, Bobby. He looked just like him.
Wow.
But bigger. Picture a biker with tattoos, with that sense, that look, that feel. He didn't have the long hair, grubby, nice-looking guy. Worked for Drift Pack at the time, the home meat delivery company. And he was just so approachable. But yet he was extremely hard. And he taught me a lot about about really just being a person. And I think that's what shines through on me, is that I always have that. So,
Paulie, do you think because of all the abuse and the negative childhood that you had, that you gravitate towards the biker community?
Yeah.
Because they welcome you like family.
Yes.
And they respect you.
Yes, my I was in therapy for a while. And she said, it's funny that you would gyrate to someone that is similar to you. And she said, that's part of my sickness. I like twisted people. I just like people who just want to have a good time and not hurt anybody, but if it gets in front of you, deal with it. If it doesn't happen in front of you, well, it's none of your business to begin with. So, and that's how I am. I really, when I'm not doing the show, I'm on the computer. I have a bunch of friends on the computer. One's more twisted than the other. And we share stupid information. And when I'm not doing that, and Annie will tell you, I have headphones on, and I just listen to the music from the 60s and the 70s. And I just let my head go back and just relax and kind of recharge. It brings me to a time where I remember when I was a child. So, I do have some childhood memories,
That are happy?
Yeah, most of them. Like my best friend, Michael. Michael Smith was my best friend. He died when he was 19. He was murdered in Virginia Beach by another guy that we know. And me and Mikey did everything together. We got high together. And one night, we were young. We were like 16. We had our own apartment. We were working. And we were too high to drive a car, so we decided to steal one of the little kids' bicycles. And we were going down Eastwood Boulevard, and I'm on the handlebars, and I'm smoking a joint, and he's got a joint hanging out of his mouth, and we're so high, he can barely pedal, and we're crashing into cars as we're going down the street. And we're saying, wouldn't it have been easy to take the car? And when we looked at the damage we had inflicted, it was like, you know what, leave the bike here. We're just going to crawl home. So I do have good memories of swimming with him, going to Crystal Beach with Michael. My first wife and his wife were best friends. So, so I do have that, that bond with somebody. I miss like my brother. Every time I go down in Center Reach, 3 doors down from my friend Big A's house is where I lived. And A bought his house 20 years later. And it's one strip of, it's probably about 4 feet wide, maybe about 30 feet long, piece of grass next to my old house. And we used to play ball, me and my brother. I said to Annie, one more. So I don't go down the street. I look at my house, look at my grandmother's house, look at that piece of grass. Remember all the mornings he'd been dragging me out of bed. Come on, let's go play catch, let's go play catch. And he always made me catch. He was always the pitcher. And when we got into sports, that was my position, was catching. He taught me how to be a catcher. He taught me how to be a hard person. And I miss him a lot. But it's like anything else in the world. You know, God would compensate for it. So I ended up with you know, a lot of beautiful children and a couple of good women in my life. A little crazy, but they were all right. They each brought something different to me and made me what I am today. So.
And let me tell you something, Paulie. All the ugly stories that you shared with me this morning, this afternoon, it has made you who you are today.
Yeah.
And don't take away from the negative experiences because you're an awesome individual.
Thank you.
Me and the body mechanic love you dearly.
I love
we,
you
we
both.
honored you, and
Yes,
we see the
we
beauty
choose.
and the brilliance in you. And we
I try.
celebrate you all the time.
I try to inspire. You know, that's the whole thing. Like when I do my show, I always end it, and I always say much love, honor, and respect to all of you. And just remember, be someone's inspiration, not their destruction. You know, you see the
doubt.
young, reach your hand out. It doesn't hurt.
Paulie, I thank you so much for sharing your yesterday, your today, and your tomorrows
Tomorrow,
with me.
haven't gotten here yet, baby. They're going to be better and better and better.
That's right. Just
I
keep
wanna
hope
thank
alive.
you. I want to thank you, Shella. I love you, and Lloyd. You know, you're a big part of me. I talk about you a lot.
Oh,
you know.
thank you.
Really, you honored me and Annie. And what's amazing is everything we've done in 20 years, we've done either out of love or just because it needed to be done. We never asked anybody to say, hey, you know, those of them. No, I don't know who you're talking about when you when people tell me, oh, you done good. Yeah, you must have me with the wrong guy. And I just keep it moving. That's how I keep my head above water. But thank you for having me out.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, baby.
When we come back, we'll be joined by the awesome, infamous body. Uh-oh, I think I have to say on here because we have a telephone call. Hold on. Well, anyway, we're going to come right back to it from break. Stay tuned.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
All right. I'm trying.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Ou aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue Tequila. Now, Mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy it.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. Look who's next to me. Welcome to Body Shop TV, Body Mechanic.
Hi. How's everybody doing today?
We're on top of the world.
Yes, yes. Drug addiction, huh?
Drug and alcohol addiction.
Alcohol addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, Paulie has some story he shared.
I had some story too. When I first met Chella, I thought I had to go to AA.
Why do you say
Don't
that?
even try it. Let me
Why do
tell
you say that?
Miss Bootleg Betty over here was turning the body mechanic into the.
Because I make homemade.
I was drinking coquito. I didn't know what it was. Next thing you know, I woke up in front of a rehab center. That was it. Next thing you know, riding around Brentwood and Bayshore like Bonnie and Clyde selling coquito.
I make homemade coquito and I use one.
That was it. That was my introduction to alcoholism.
I use 191 proof. That's why you got addicted to it.
I don't know how people do it.
I know, it drains me. I mean, it's, you know, now that I totally stopped, I can't drink alcohol anymore. And it's...
Shelley's so full of it.
No, I'm serious.
Really?
I went to an event. Where did I go? Oh, I did a massage event on the beach the other day, a week ago. And the hostess was bringing out wine. And I forgot that because I'm on this special program, I'm not supposed to drink any alcohol, so I forgot, and I had a sip. I cannot tell you how it tasted. I didn't like it, how it made me feel.
I remember when I went to, remember when I did that red carpet event in the city? I hadn't had wine in a long, I hadn't drank, and I mean, I'm not a drinker, so, I mean, I don't go and buy alcohol. So they had wine at the table. I mean, it was $250 a ticket. So they had wine at the table, they had a bunch of different things. So I had a sip of wine and my stomach burned for almost 30 minutes. I don't know how people do it.
Listen, you know, I called my mom before the show started and I said, can I have permission? Is it okay with you if I talk about my childhood and how my father drank?
Hold on, I think she's calling right now, sending you a message. She's like, don't you dare. See, typical Figueres move.
No, that's not what
Your mom watching? Hi, Mom.
No, she's not. She's not computer savvy, because we've been through this already. So when I asked her, I said, do you mind if I talk about Papi? She goes, please do, and tell this and tell that. So anyway, you know, I'm Latina, and we, you know, party a lot. And we used to drive out to Manhattan or even to Amityville to our families' homes to party. And everybody, you know, was into alcohol, and everybody got drunk, and we lived on Long Island. out in Babylon, and so we would have to drive from Manhattan all the way back to Long Island. And my father would always be drunk. And he would speed down the highway, and we would go through the Interborough Parkway called the Jackie Robinson. Now it's called, I don't know what it's called now. And they call it the Snake. You know what I'm talking about? My father would drive through the Snake doing like 90 miles an hour. Drunk. And all I could hear was my mother in the front seat yelling at my father, cursing him out in Spanish. This was like every weekend, every Saturday night. And all I remember is sitting in the back seat, just crying, and I would cry myself to sleep. And when I would wake up, I'd wake up pulling into our driveway, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning.
How old are you?
This was when I was, 8, 7, 6 years old, 9 years old. And my father drank all the time. When Friday came, forget about it. It was even more so. But I got to tell you, my father was never violent, never raised his voice, never laid a hand on my mom. He's a good father. But all those years of drinking alcohol, his alcohol of choice back then was Georgie vodka. I don't know why. I think that's like the cheapest vodka on the market. He'd drink vodka. His brother would drink gin. And as a result, when he turned 80, he had a massive heart attack, 2 strokes, and now he's almost 90% the man he used to be. And he still drinks. He goes to the liquor store, he sneaks bottles of Bacardi and hides them in the garage. That's his, he can't do the things he used to do with his, his manual dexterity is not there anymore. He used to be a carpenter, work with his hands. He can't do that. And so.
When did he stop doing that kind of work?
He never stopped. When he retired, he moved to Florida, and he always did work around the house, did side jobs. He always worked. He always kept busy until he had the stroke.
And he had the stroke at what age?
And the heart attack. 80.
Wow.
3 years ago. He's a good man, hard to go, but alcohol was his vice, and still loves it.
I didn't even know what to say. I wasn't raised in that kind of household. Like, my parents had a little bar downstairs, but those bottles had so much dust on them, they never got touched.
I've seen those kind of bars.
I never seen my parents, like, literally, they had a little bar. I think it had like 3 bottles, and I never saw my parents drink.
No? We come from a drinking family.
No, we didn't.
Drinking and drugs.
I never, either that or I just never paid attention. But I don't ever recall my parents like sitting upstairs and like having a swig.
Think about what it does to the body.
Oh my God! Oh, you know what's so funny? I was in the city yesterday. Day before yesterday. I was walking down the street, and this lady was sitting on a cooler by a truck, and the infant must have been about 1 year old. I don't even know why I went this direction, because it was disturbing to me. And she had that baby drinking soda, like from a bottle of Pepsi, and the baby was a baby. It was like 1 year old. I don't get it. I looked at her like, what are you doing? I mean, I know it's your baby, but what are you doing?
What'd she say?
Nothing. She looked at me like I was nuts. Like, people have no clue. Just like the people that drink, when you initially start, it's a social thing, but then once the dependency kicks in, it's like I don't know. I don't get the whole thing. I guess I do.
Dependency is an illness.
No, I know. I guess I get it, because people want to be comfortable, and like one sip just knocks you out the box. Literally, one sip of alcohol, it disorientates you, and it makes you high, and people just like being kind of anesthetized and disconnected from their inhibitions.
Right, and a lot of people have hang-ups. They can't communicate. They don't know how to socialize. They can't. But
they're afraid. They're afraid, and the alcohol gives them courage. But more importantly, it's a huge dopamine release. So, that first high they get, it's like chasing the dragon. They just keep drinking, and like there are people who go to bars and stuff who don't stop until they're like laying on the ground. They just drink until they like pass out. I'll tell you, you know, the system could talk about marijuana and talk about cocaine, but alcohol is no joke. So many deaths every year because of alcohol.
And let me tell you, New York State is not playing with sentencing. I'm working in the jail now, and I'm working with a lot of people who have DWIs, and their numbers are like 8 and 9 years for DWIs.
Well, think, because people are killing people. I don't get it. I don't get people going out to a club by themselves, driving, and then having 6 or 7 drinks and then getting behind the wheel.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to have some more guests coming on later on the hour talking about drug and alcohol addiction. But I want to talk to you, Body Mechanic. How was your week? I haven't seen you.
Don't even try it, Chella. You saw me yesterday on the we were on the
Why
radio
you
yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen you in months, Body Mechanic. Paliza.
It seems like every time I start the show, I'm here alone.
Don't even try it. It's only happened twice.
I don't think so.
Except for when I'm away. It's different.
Yeah, I think it's been more than twice.
No.
But anyway, yes, we did the Dr. Love show yesterday on WLIE. That
Yes,
was a lot of fun.
and yesterday you were on the D. What is it? Passion with D. Passion for Life with D and Friends.
Yes, she started her new show. I'm so
Yes.
proud of her. She's gonna do really well. What's your
Yeah.
passion?
Huh?
What's your passion?
My passion is. I have lots of passions.
Just pick one.
Which one should I pick? My passion is all about loving humanity and making sure that everyone has everything they need.
That's nice. That's nice.
My passion is helping people. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
That's my everyday journey. I wake up and I go, how many people can I help today? Okay, we'll set a number. We'll say 30 today.
That's good.
I saw a bunch of new people yesterday. I have met like 3 or 4 people. People were told to meet me, so I met a couple people at the seaport, and then I had some new old massage clients came out of the woodwork. So like, everybody's like resurfacing. Yeah.
That's right. Summer's over. Muscles are tight.
Yeah. Exactly.
My passion is educating people, awareing people of the realities of HIV/AIDS, because you don't see red ribbons floating around like you do pink ones. You know, people think it's gone away, but it hasn't. And my brother died in '88, and I've been shouting this and spreading the word ever since. And the attitudes are the same, and the denial is the same. So that's my passion.
I don't know anyone who has AIDS.
No?
Not that, but that talked about it, other than Magic Johnson and the other usual suspects.
And it's really hard to relate to it if you're not affected. You know, my family had been affected with the loss of my brother, and I have several family members, cousins that are infected or have passed on. So, you know, you read about it in the paper, you hear it about on the radio, but when it hits home with your family, it's a whole different world.
Are people still, is it still the numbers are the same as they were?
Are you kidding me? They're growing, especially among women, especially among African American women and the senior community.
That's bizarre.
It's real.
That's bizarre. How is it growing amongst African American women?
I could talk to you about that. We're going to take a break right now.
That's bizarre.
I know, but it's real. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You know, they can put it in the water, you know.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. My name is Chella.
And my name is the Body Mechanic NYC.
Body Mechanic, what are you eating?
I'm eating durian.
What is that?
For folks out there in radio, TV land, this is a very exotic fruit. Durian, it kind of tastes like custard. Hey, you want to taste it?
I don't know. Tell me what's in it first.
Yeah.
No,
Here, try some.
no, stop. Tell me talk about it.
Oh, you getting those shots because you're there?
No, because
what happened?
you're going to mess up my
What,
lipstick.
Kunta can't take care of Steve.
Will you stop?
Well, come on. So, folks. Smell it. It smells funky. So, this is an absolute delicacy. This fruit grows in Indonesia.
It's a fruit?
Southeast Asia.
Oh.
And there's nothing like it. It can range anywhere from one fruit. It could range from $15 up to $100 for one fruit. There's nothing in the world like it. It literally tastes like sweet custard. It's not like it. From a nutrient standpoint, it blows most fruits away. In order to be handled, it has to be handled with rubberized gloves because the outside shell, exoskeleton of the fruit, literally is like a prickly cactus. And it will pierce you and make you bleed. And they're sold in Chinatown anywhere from $2.50 to $10 a pound. Like I said, it can range anywhere from the fruit being 7, 8 pounds up to 20 pounds. So, and it's a delicacy. Nothing on the planet tastes like this. Sorry.
Enjoy, Body Mechanic.
I do a lot of shopping in Chinatown because I'm able to get exotic fruits from all over the world. And literally without any pesticide. Well, some of the shells will have pesticides because I think some of them are sprayed on the import into the U.S. because that's just the way we do. We just poison everything. We just want to kill the rest of the whole planet. I mean, the Western culture. So that's why you always eat fruits with skin.
What's inside? The seed?
That's the seed. And the seed is soft. Feel it. Almost feel like a prune. Right. And you could buy frozen, fresh, but the shell, the skeleton of the fruit, or the exoskeleton, is almost an inch thick, so it's impenetrable. I can't put it in words. It's just like, it looks like pig snot and boogers, but It tastes like fruit caviar. Why?
It smells weird.
It's supposed to.
I don't like the way it smells.
Oh. Well, you like the taste.
That's why you have the Tupperware with the plastic over it so that odor doesn't come out.
Oh, yeah. I was on the train eating it. I'm sorry. What happened? Like, hey, you know you're going to get all kinds of things on Buy Shop TV. We bring the world to... What? A call?
Nope, we can't touch it.
Why not?
We have to wait for instructions.
I'm going to roast some durian on it. Testing 1, 2, want some durian?
Have you seen the latest entries for the T-shirt contest?
Oh, it's heating up.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, we got some new ones?
We got some new ones. I thought I sent them to you.
I saw.
Awesome.
I saw one with a few squiggly lines, and I don't know who did that one.
You know who that was?
Oh.
I'll tell you later.
We got a call?
They got a call. Yeah. We have a phone call.
Welcome to Buy Shop TV.
Hi, how y'all doing?
We are chillaxing.
Well, I heard you all talking about my passion and what have you, so I just wanted to share and say thank you again, and also talk about some of the alcohol and drugs.
Oh,
wait a minute, is this delicious?
This is delicious.
What's up, girl?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Excellent, excellent.
Excellent. I'm so glad.
After having all my night of aged products.
Well, yeah, we gotta share some more about that.
From the fried clams and the.
Again, thank you so much, because y'all just made my evening. And then after that, the after party, eating all that bad AGEs. But hey, you do what you gotta do,
That was fun.
And I read about that big old drink you had there. So that, you were saying something about having some wine and was messing with you, but then you drank that down really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what's interesting? Like, I'm not a drinker, and what happens is when you do something on a regular basis, Dee, and you know this, it alters your chemistry.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because alcohol really doesn't bring anything good to your body.
No.
It's one thing to drink, once a week or once a month, but when you drink 3-4 times a week, it becomes a pattern, and now you start to alter the chemistry of your body. Even one drink alters your chemistry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a sister, and I love her dearly, but she has real serious challenges with alcohol, and I believe because she has a chemical imbalance, it kind of like goes right into her head. And actually, we were going to visit in California, and I told her, I said, I cannot stay at your house unless you don't drink while I'm there, because it's just going to cause issues. So she ultimately said, well, maybe it's best that you stay in a hotel, because she did not want to stop drinking. So, and she's going to be 53 years old, but I believe, like Body Mechanic was saying, that it is really in her system at this point. And she started young. And I believe when you start so young, like 14, 12, start drinking, you can't get rid of it. It's definitely an addiction. And it's hard when you start later, early in life. But when you start later, thank goodness, a lot of times it doesn't take, as bad. It really does. And a lot of people are in denial, very much in denial in what it's doing to their body.
Well, you know this, Dee. Most people don't even understand basic food chemistry and interaction with food, so definitely not going to understand what alcohol does to the body. What it does to liver function. Liver does, 80% of the body's functions get processed by the liver. You know that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Right.
You don't even want to put certain things on your skin because then it bypasses the liver and it just goes right into your body. So you got to be real careful of all that. So and a lot of people's liver forget about it, with all the alcohol and all the things that they're putting into their body is just like killing the liver.
And one of the things that we've all heard this term, leaky gut syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol is the number one cause of that. Proteins go where they're not supposed to go.
Right.
They go into brain tissue, through the wall of the intestines, the stomach. What's so interesting is that, and you know this because of what you've studied, that people don't understand how once the wall of your cardiovascular system becomes penetrated by things that are not supposed to be going through there, it infects the entire system, the body.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to explain it to people.
Well, it's scary because a lot of people are not even open to understanding what's going on with their body. And that's why, I love your show, and that's what we're trying to convey also, some understanding, some awareness of what's going on with people's bodies, and how you can just make things better by just trying to get certain things out so that you're not so toxic. You bring so many things that are toxic. Even just walking down the street, you have so many things that are toxic in your body. So you got to be real careful. But, I noticed I actually went out with this gentleman one time, and it was crazy because he thought he had a car accident, and he had been drinking the night before. But when he went to the hospital, then I guess 6-7 hours later, his toxicity,
was still high.
Came up really high, and he was like, "Oh, they must have put some alcohol into his blood and caused it that way." No. But a couple of months later, when we finally supposed to go out, he had a binge the night before, and I realized, I said, "You have a problem." I think that if the alcohol goes out of your system, that stays in your system for days, and it'll be high, and you keep on feeding. If you're drinking day after day, it just keeps it elevated.
Well, and another thing is, you'll have people go to a bar, and I've seen this because I was a bouncer in a couple of clubs, and, in a short stint, let's say 1 or 2 hours, they consume, 8 or 9 shots. So technically, for 9 hours, 10 hours, your body's processing those shots. And that's early in the evening. Those people are drink till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and drink enough alcohol for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
No, and even drugs. I experimented it as a youngster and what have you, but I didn't really start drinking or experimenting with alcohol or pot or whatever until I was about 17, 18 years old. So my body just never really took to it. But on the other hand, I was a smoker. I smoked cigarettes since I was 12 years old, and I did not want to get rid of it. I was addicted to cigarettes, and that's another chemical. I was very chemically dependent on that, and I didn't want to quit. It took me 30 years before I quit.
Well, Dee, I mean, you said chemical as in one. I mean, a cigarette has over 300 different concoctions in it.
You're right about that.
And
you're definitely right about that.
Nicotine alone is bad, but when you add all the other things that are in the cigarette, are by far worse than the nicotine.
It was.
Come on, doctor.
I enjoyed it. I didn't want to get rid of it, but
I'll bet.
On the other hand, with the cigarettes and the drinking, I'm a social. I mean, with the drugs and the drinking, I'm social, but I don't even deal with any drugs at this point. But of course, with drinking, I'll have a little bit here and there, but other people just forget it. I don't even want to be around certain people.
Well, Chella and I, we hung out with a few people. Remember last year? We went out to eat something. We were at a restaurant, and we couldn't believe how many drinks they had in such a short period of time. People don't mess around. They don't just drink one drink. They have 8 or 9. I would literally be lying on the floor.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Well, Dee, we want to thank you for calling into Body Shop TV. We're going to take a break right now.
Okay, well, thank you again.
And we wish you the best with your new show, Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, that airs here at Madhouse TV every Friday evening at 8:30 p.m.
Okay, take care.
All right, we love you.
We love you too.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to have an awesome conversation with my girl, Eva. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidiscipline practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. My name is Chella.
And I am Body Mechanic NYC.
You always get so excited when we have a guest in the studio.
Look at her. She's beautiful.
Eva.
Can I sit on the sofa with her?
Yes, go ahead. Eva, welcome to Body Shop TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're awesome. We're talking about drugs and alcohol addiction, and
I know a lot about it.
I thought about you. I know your yesterdays. You know a lot of my family that I was talking about earlier on the show. And why don't you give us a little bit of a background about who you are?
Okay. I was a little goody two-shoes girl, church girl, and there was this drug that came out. I mean, I always drank, but never to an excess.
At what time, when did you start drinking? What age?
Well, my uncle owned a bar, so it must have been about 18 years old. And we would drink and hang out and have a good time, so we thought it was a good time. And then there was this drug that came out called crack. And I was sort of interested in trying it because I'm like, what is this thing here? And I remember going by one of my friend's house, and they were smoking it, and I tried it, and my life went zoop downhill all the way. You know, I worked for a major company, had a very good position, and I was just out there. I mean, I would come home 4 o'clock in the morning, get on the train, looking a mess, but I thought I was okay. And it took me out of who I was for about 7 years.
Wow.
And then I eventually, I remember I was missing from my job, and I called my boss. Unbeknownst to me, they were calling me to find out where I was at, and I was calling her to tell her I need some help. And that day I went into a rehab. And
you want to mention the name of the rehab?
Marworth.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Pennsylvania. And I remember when I got there, I was angry because I didn't realize 30 days was such a long time. And they were like really investigating me and getting on my nerves. You know, and the strange thing was I was there with people when they were searching my suitcase for rubbing alcohol and for fingernail polish remover. I just didn't understand. But addiction has you so bad that some people will take fingernail polish remover and drink it as their alcohol.
For the alcohol.
Yeah,
the alcohol
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe
rubbing
it.
alcohol also.
And then I was angry with the counselors because I thought they were attacking me, but I was used to just doing what I wanted to do. And I remember one day, this lady said something to me, and I thought she should apologize to me, and I apologized to her. And she did not respond with an apology, and I was upset. But it took me 30 days to get out of there, and then when I got out, for some reason I did something stupid and tried it again because, you know, your thought is, if I only get one is good. But one got too good, and I got about 5 more, and then next day I said, no, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more.
Because you realized you was headed back down the path.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I ended up in places that were unbelievable where I would be in someone's home, and they had roaches that were climbing on me, and I'm just sitting there too paranoid to move. And it was just a horrible, horrible thing.
Eva, you said after 7 years you were calling your employer to ask for help.
Yes.
What made you get to that point? What made you make that decision?
Well, I was hurting my family. I was hurting myself. I was destined to go to jail soon. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, I've always been scared of people. Not scared in a sense, but I've never been a violent person physically or verbally, I'll tell you off. But I've never been that person that, you know, has physical fights. And I was hanging out with people that I would never, and to this day, not trying to sound snobby, I wouldn't hang out with them now.
So you just were not yourself.
I was not myself at all. And I mean, like I had said, I was sitting in houses where the police could come in, drug dealers where the police could come in at any moment. And I wasn't raised like that. I was raised by 2 very good parents. And I had let myself go to, I was on Mars, and I mean really on Mars. Yeah. You know, I would run to the window and look out the window because somebody was knocking on the door. There was nobody there. It was just me going crazy. And I would drink and say, well, I'm not going to do that. And as soon as I drank something, I'd go, oh, well, just go get one. And one turned into a whole 8 hours of it or 3 days of it, and it was horrible. It was a very horrible experience for me.
How'd you support your habit?
I had a good job.
She had a good job. She's making money.
Oh,
so it was
yes.
easy.
And yes. And the funny thing, I was scared to go and buy the drugs, so I would give somebody money to go get drugs, and they turn around and sell me back my prop when I just bought them. You know, it was really crazy because I would give, like, for example, I'd give somebody $100 to go buy drugs. They'd come back with a $40 worth, and then they didn't have any money in the first place, but now they're selling me the other $60 worth. But that's how my life it just spiraled out of control.
You just wanted to get it. You didn't care.
I didn't care. But I was scared to go do these things myself. And I wrote a letter to the president of my company about my boss because instead of her firing me, she embraced me and she says, I'm going to take care of you. And fortunate for me, I get watery thinking about her. What she did is she said, Eva is sick now. So when I got back, they had a $4,000 check waiting for me, which I said, maybe that's not good. But I was able to pay back all the bills and all the stuff that I had done to my mother. You know, it was just a horrible experience, a very horrible experience.
Were you involved in a relationship during those years?
Yeah, and that wasn't a good one because I thought somebody who was going to help me out hindered me by fooling around all the time. And I was involved with a man that he does drugs, and he has a very prominent position now. And he would bring me the drugs, and everything's about the drugs. And in fact, it's so funny because I saw him the other day, and I'm pulling out my yard, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine," and I kept it moving.
Because that's not the kind of party you want.
No. That was the worst time in my entire life. It was the worst. You know, and things I think about now, I'll laugh, but it wasn't funny. It was not funny. You know, I'm hearing the cops coming in the house and all kinds of crazy stuff I was hearing, but it wasn't funny. It was a horrible experience for me. And one that I will never, thank God, return to, you know.
So you said you did it one time.
Huh?
You did it one time.
No, I didn't do it one time.
No, the first time you did it one time and that was it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Wow.
because we were at these, in fact, we were at a friend of mine's house, and I was like, what are they smoking on that Pepsi can? So I tried it because they used to put little holes in the Pepsi can and put the ashes on there and light up and I did it then, and I was like, okay. I didn't do it right away, but when it came, I was like, okay, I'll try that, and it got out of control. You know, me and my friend, we would be riding around in a car on some dark street trying to light up something, scared to death. It was a horrible experience. And I don't know, like I have friends now. I have a friend that he does work for me, like handyman work, and he's almost 60 years old, and I don't know how this man does it. I can't understand. There's no joy in that. You wreck your life. You lose a lot. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. You're
not. Is the lady who helped you at work, she's still around?
She actually moved to North Carolina. And I've been retired for 6 years, and this was going on in 1990. So this is old stuff, but I still remember it like it's right here.
What kind of work were you doing at that time?
I was a ticket clerk for Long Island Railroad. That's not what I ended up being, but that was a good paying job at the time. And when I got back, in fact, I was a supervisor. When I got back, you know, I still kept my position.
Wow.
And like I said, I had gotten a check, and then I moved on to higher places. But that job, which was a good job, they could have thrown me under the bus big time because I was missing. I was, you know, you do stuff that you would never do, like take money from places that I've never stole money from anyone, but this is what happens. You know, you're out there and say, I'll put it back this time, or I'll put it back next time. And, you know, it's a very tough place to be. Very tough.
Yeah, because people have harsh words for drug addicts, but they don't, or people who have used drugs, but most of those people have no clue. People just talk from nowhere. They really do. And it can happen to anyone.
It really can.
It really can.
It really can, because in my experience, I have seen people that I've known that were very sophisticated people. You know, I've seen them walking the streets, prostituting themselves and stuff, and I was like, what are they doing? And then it happened to me. And you end up anywhere, any scary place, and a lot of times, thank God I did have money because I didn't have to prostitute myself because I had money. But the drug is so addicting that you will do anything for it.
By any means necessary. Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
It's a horrible thing. You know, and thank God today I could say, thank God I wouldn't know where to buy that stuff at from nowhere. And I wouldn't want to buy it. You know, I just wouldn't want to do that. That experience, it's still, I'm still now just getting over.
It still affects you.
Yeah, shame. Stuff I've done, you know, to acquire it, or stuff, you know, hanging out. My mother has passed 3 years ago, and I still, this woman, she sat there and prayed. You know, they had that song, My Mama Prayed for Me. My mama prayed real hard because it took Eva totally out of character. It wasn't me. You know, I was sort of snooty, not really snooty. But I was like, and became, please. And, you know, I would pray about it. I'd ask God to remove it. And he did, but he does things in his own time. But I wanted that taken away from me immediately, and it didn't happen until I went to Marworth.
How long was that treatment center?
It was 30 days. But it was 30 days of like what I thought was boot camp, because I wasn't used to nobody telling me what to do. What? And they had telling me, get up. You had to get up at 7. You couldn't have sugar in your coffee because sugar is addictive. You know, they would tell you you're changing your addiction.
It creates that. It starts that kind of behavior. That's what sugar does.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I was like, oh no, I'm not there. But they were like, well, we don't want you to get there. And then they would tell you stuff, you know, the counselors would tell you off. They'd have you in all these trust issues. Like, you know, you had to close your eyes and they'd push you down and see if you're going to, if you trust people enough to just lay there like this.
To let go.
Yeah, yeah. And I wasn't successful at that because I didn't trust anybody. I was like, oh, you're not going to drop me. But I had lost a tremendous amount of weight. It was just a horrible experience for me and a horrible experience for anyone.
Did it humble you?
Yes, it did, in a sense. Now I'm still back to being snotty Eva sometimes. but I will never condemn a person who has that problem. I just try to pray for them. Like, I have friends now or people that I went to school with that I see down on Albany who still smoke or whatever. And I will go bring them a plate of Chinese food or go to the Spanish restaurant, get them something to eat. I won't give them any money, but I know how bad that, and if you don't have any family support, you're like sunk.
You're done.
You're sunk. You don't have any support or anybody to say, you know, let me pull you up off the ground. You're sunk. You know, fortunate for me, I had family and friends that was like, Eva, this is not you. And
but you weren't hearing it.
No, I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing it. The one thing that made me know something was wrong with me when I was allowing bugs to climb on me, that was it for me. I said, oh no. But at that time, I was too high.
Like a telemove.
I was too high to, you know, switch them off. And, you know, we'd go over to somebody's house and they'd give you one like me because I won't say I had money. I wasn't wealthy. But because I had a job, people were quick to give me the big hit.
Because they knew that you would buy more.
You got it. You got it. They would give me the big hit. Next thing I know, I'm going to the bank, ATM, 3 o'clock in the morning, ATM. The cops are flying by and I'm paranoid and, you know, I'm giving them my ATM card to go. And it was horrible.
Wow.
It was a very bad experience. That was like, and the interesting thing to me is that I didn't know better because I saw people that I knew and looked up to go down the tubes with this drug and sell themselves walking up and down Great Neck Road. And I was like, oh. And next thing I know, I was on a little, but I had and you think crazy too. I remember going up to the corner in my Volvo with a fur coat on, thinking nobody knew what I was going up there for because I thought I was going up there fabulously. Now, there was nothing up there but to go buy drugs, but because I had a fur coat on and my Volvo.
So you thought you were incognito?
Yes, I did. me, and it's so funny because me and this woman who ended up being a reverend to this day, we both were up there in our fur coats, and we like, ooh. I think of the crazy stuff. Or my car, I had bought the Volvo, and I'm riding around so much I didn't put any oil in the car. The car's going clack, 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 clack. But I'm riding to go get my hit, you know. And that's what I would do, you know. And where are you going to smoke at? And you're smoking out the front window like the neighbors can't see you, like nobody in the house can smell it. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy. But thank God.
Do you have a different circle of friends today?
I have my old friends that were my friends originally. I started hanging out, not really hanging out. I was with people who I would never, to this day, hang out with, but they smoked, so my friends didn't smoke.
So it wasn't about friends, it was all about the drugs anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not about friends.
Yeah. But the funny thing is the incognito thing.
When you thought you were really hiding.
Did I?
But that's what it does. It
Zsa Zsa Gabor was out in her fur coat going to buy a 20. And I think a real funny thing is one time they were doing a News 12 program. And I had the nerve to get on there and talk smack. And I was really up there to go buy Jumbo. And I had told them, I said, we have a new influx of people coming into the community. And that's why the cops are here. Because when it was just us up there buying, they sit on the side and just watch.
They don't care, but
They
when
didn't
other
care.
people come up there, they
Other
got to
people
protect
came-
them.
Yeah. And then after the camera got off me, I went and bought my jumbo. You know,
Wow.
it was a horrible experience. It was really, really horrible. But thank God, and I thank him every day for his mercy, because I ended up in jail one time, but it wasn't due to drugs. It was because I parked my car on the wrong side of the road in front of my house, and this cop was giving me a ticket, and I came out there and let him have it, because I was still crazy in my head. And he says, if you don't shut up, I'm going to arrest you. And I said, go right ahead. Click, click. I mean, I had to pay $25 to get out, but thank God, I was still in my uniform. Thank God I wasn't doing drugs at that minute. I won't say at that time, but at that minute. But I've never ended up in jail, which I thank God for, because that would have broke my mother's heart and scared me to death. You know, and, you know, it was just a very bad, bad time.
Eva, your mom, may she rest in peace. What kind of things did she say to you?
She would just look at me and say, Eva, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. And I would come and lie to her. My mother was one of the sweetest people in the world. And I would come in there and lie to her. And I would say to her, let me have that $50, 2 o'clock in the morning, that I gave you to hold so I wouldn't go buy drugs.
I want it back.
I want it back. Yeah. My mother saved my car 3 times from repossession. You know, and I kept saying, I can't keep doing this to her. And I did, but you know what? Thank God, you know, my mom and I, when she was very sick, I took care of her just like she took care of me when I was sick. You know, and it's just, whew, I don't know how people can do that drug. Oh my God. And alcohol is another.
I know. You know, it's so funny. We're talking about crack. You know, alcohol is just as bad.
Yes, it is.
And we look at it like it's just some social phenomenon.
That's because it's legal. The same way I was saying to somebody the other day with marijuana. Now they want to legalize marijuana because they found a way to tax it. The same with the numbers. So my thing with that is, and I know this is not the topic, let all those brothers out of jail that you put in jail behind the marijuana law.
Well, no, what they want to do is they just want to keep that business going.
Right.
Right, because they're making money for someone.
Oh, yeah.
Eva, we're going to take a break right now.
Okay.
I'd love to talk to you with some more about your yesterdays.
Okay.
And Eva is an awesome, awesome singer.
You know, I felt that.
Oh, thank you.
That's the way she talks.
Awesome singer.
I'm nasal now because but
Yeah.
that's okay.
That's your excuse? You can't sing? Like, you don't want to close out the show later on? With a little something, something?
No. No.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Eva.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful framed prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. My name is Chella.
And I am the Body Mechanic NYC.
Eve, I want to do something different with you.
Okay.
We'll break up the
You're gonna
flow.
do that? You gonna do the thing with her?
Yeah, we're gonna do the,
Yeah, I
the
want
Body
definitely know
Shop.
about her numbers.
Yeah, right. We're gonna ask you a few questions. What's your favorite furry animal?
My dog Cosmo.
Your dog.
He's
Aw.
so cute. He's a toy Yorkie.
So funny.
And give me three adjectives as to what.
You know what? You're going in. You must have it.
Wait a minute. That noun is person, place, a thing. An adjective is
Something that describes.
Describe.
Why?
Describes me.
How it makes you.
Yes, Body Mechanic.
Okay, your dog, right?
Is your
Vision your dog, right?
Uh-huh.
There's three ways of how that dog makes you feel. What are those words?
Why is it your favorite furry animal?
I love him to death because he rescued my life. When my mother passed, my house was quiet, and I said, boy, it's too quiet in here. And then I have to hold myself because I'll start crying.
That's a verb.
Christmas, I said, I have nobody to say Merry Christmas to.
Aww.
So my little cousin calls me up and says, they just rescued a Yorkie male at North Shore Animal League. And I went there, and I walked past this dog, and my friend says, well, what about this little one? And I looked at him, I said, ugh. And I picked him up, and I held him. And all the people around there were like waiting for me to put him down because they knew that was a prize. And you said 3 words, but I can't describe him in 3 words. I love this dog with all my heart. He is a pain in the behind. He's spoiled.
All right. He's spoiled.
He's spoiled. Okay. He's very loving.
Loving.
And he gets on my nerves. And that's not an adjective.
Nuisance.
No, I just he's just very special to me.
Very special. That's enough.
Okay.
That's enough.
He's
So-
very special. I laugh because people say they sleep with their dogs. I'm like, oh no. My dog sleeps in my bed and he's about this big and takes up all the room in my queen bed.
Right in the middle of the bed.
Yes, right next to me. And I'm like, move over. And he's like, "Arr!" You know, he's just I gotta come on the show talking about my dog on dog.
So those things that you described about your dog are how people view you.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they do think I'm spoiled. I know that. My brothers and sisters always thought I was a spoiled brat, and I'm the middle child. But, and I am loving. I am loving.
You are.
You know, we can't describe things outside of our filter. That's why these questions are very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about other things, all you're doing is talking about yourself, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and there's no saying, you know, what people think of you is none of your business because they're projecting themselves onto you.
Right.
That's all we can do.
Right.
That's just how the brain works.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I said good things.
What is the other thing?
Color.
Yeah, no, you do that. I'll do the other two.
I bet.
Okay.
Stop.
What's your favorite color?
I thought she was gonna start singing. I got nervous. I was about to see like you like holding a note like.
Red is the color of my true love's hair. Red.
Red.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got chill. I got goosebumps. I think we need to do a commercial.
And why? 3 adjectives as to why red is your favorite color. 3 words.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Exciting. Luscious.
Brilliant, exciting, and luscious.
Yes, you are.
So that's how you view yourself.
Oh.
She says, that's right. Par for the course. Okay, so now we're gonna change directions a little bit.
I'll say.
Okay.
All right. I want you to close your eyes for a second. All right. Now imagine you open your eyes, but your eyes are still closed. You open your eyes and you find that you're in a room that's white and there's no windows and no doors. I want you to process that feeling for a few seconds.
Okay.
How does it make you feel?
I'm fine, but I want to know how I can get out of here for later.
So you feel trapped?
Not trapped, because in that, can I open my eyes?
Yes.
In that room, I would really relax myself, but being the person I am, I would want to look to say, okay, that's the door I can get out when I want to get out, but I would surely make the best of it. Just like even in here, this couch looks wonderful to me.
Oh, it's so funny.
Okay, but Eva, how does that make you feel being in a room with no windows and no doors,
You
all
can't
white?
get out.
Oh, I wouldn't like it.
So 3 things, how it makes you feel.
If I couldn't get out, I'd be scared.
Scared.
I'd have a lot of anxiety.
Anxious.
And I would feel trapped if I couldn't get out.
Yeah. That's how you view death.
Huh?
That's how you view death.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You're funny. When you sing, you should be a comedian too.
No, I do agree.
Okay, and the final thing, we kind of took it out of sequence a little bit. I want you to think about your favorite body of water. It could be a bathtub. It could be an ocean. It could be a cloud. It could be a lagoon.
Any body of water.
Yeah, any body of water.
Your favorite.
I would say the Caribbean Sea. Caribbean Sea.
All right, so 3 things about the Caribbean Sea, adjectives, about how that makes you feel.
I haven't seen any shark movies about the Caribbean Sea.
You got sharks? I'm scared of you. No, so what do you think about?
It's just relaxing.
Okay, relaxing.
And beautiful. And comforting. Like, I went to Megan's Bay. You ever been to Megan's Bay in St. Thomas? It's just a large, serene body of water that comes up to about the middle of my chest, and it's just relaxing. Very relaxing.
So that's how you view sex.
Well, I don't know.
She is funny.
Listen, we're not going to go there.
Okay, y'all, that's been stricken from the record. So let me read until let me done.
Oh, goodness.
She
I would have
went-
said Pacific Ocean if I knew that's Oh, God.
Oh, my God. No, you know, it's one way of how we think we should be or our perception. But when you do those adjectives, it's really how you understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
A lot of us want to be a certain way, but we don't get there.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
You know, it's you know, it's like people think they're perceived a certain way by their environment, and people see what their construct only allows them. It's like if you bring up something new, right? For instance, like I talked about this new fruit. But when people know what it is, it doesn't exist until they see it and smell it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what it's
That's
about.
very true, because a lot of people misinterpret who I am a lot of times. You know, like I take my dog to the dog park, and there's this woman down there that's always like trying to play Miss Black, and I'm like,
what does that mean?
Well, she's like, she's an Italian girl, and she's always like, you know, I'll mess this person up, thinking it's pleasing to me, and I'm like, I don't hang out with people like that. You know, I like, I'll give you an example. There's a woman down there that has mental problems. She comes to the dog park. Very nice, but she has genuine mental problems. And this other lady wants to pick at her all the time. So I pulled her aside one day and I said, you know, you bullying that woman is not helping her at all. And I said, it's very displeasing to me.
It makes everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, because this woman really has a severe problem. But she's harmless. I mean, the FBI is always after her, but that's okay. You know, but she's harmless. And this one thinks it's tough because she thinks she's emulating a black woman. And I have to let her know all the time, no, my friends don't act like that. You know, we're not all ghetto mamas, you know.
What she's trying to do is she thinks that that's the environment that you normally associate yourself with. So she calls herself
assimilating.
And trying. She's trying to be friendly, but she doesn't realize she just has to be herself.
Yeah, exactly.
But then maybe that's her. Maybe that's where she's become.
Maybe. Well, listen, it's not helping her out anymore because the other ladies in the dog park and we all hang out together. And we have a wonderful time, black, white, green, and all. We have a good time. We go out to lunch. And we all have excluded her because this is the way she wants to act like, yo, I cooked the meatball parmesan, I cooked the best of pizza, eggplant parm, sausage and peppers. And I'm like, okay. Oxtail curry goat. And I'm like, I don't cook oxtail and curry goat.
She must be lonely.
I eat it, but I don't cook it.
She means well. She
does mean well, but she has to realize that the perception that people have, and this is what I tell people on Facebook all the time, please stop putting those videos, those violent videos of black women fighting everybody, because we all are not.
I hate to see. Every time I get those, I would start blocking people who even post them because you know what it does?
Too.
It perpetuates the stereotype.
Me too. I said if you put this violent foolishness up there, with your grown over 60 self behind, I have befriended a lot of people because I'm not going to tolerate that because that makes everybody thinks that that's how we all are.
Right.
And I saw one where this mother was beating the crap out of her daughter, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, the girl's like 16, and she's pulling her hair and punching her face, and it was horrible.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Some things are just too much. And,
Yeah.
and you know what happens? When you get that imprint in your brain, it doesn't go away.
No.
That's why I'm very cautious about what I have access to and the things and types of people that I'm around because they affect your everything.
Yeah.
It's like an infection.
It's horrible. It makes me sick. And especially when at my age and above, and even younger, 30 and above or whatever, we should know better. That it's not putting out a good signal of who we are.
Right.
You know, it just...
No, we think it's funny. We think it's funny and we think it's, cool, but it's not.
Not
I
at all.
actually try to separate myself from that completely.
Yes.
In fact, Chell and I went to this, we went to that firehouse, the party.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny, like, the kind of community that I'm in now. You've traveled before, obviously, and we both have traveled. And I talk about this. My color was never an issue until I came back to this country. I left and I started traveling. I was in the military, and then I lived in Canada for 5 years. So in the early 90s, I came back, and it wasn't until then that I realized that I was black. All of a sudden, I'm black. And before that, it didn't make a difference what I was.
Right, right.
And that's what starts the separation. Okay, so I'm this. So now I got to be over in this group.
Yeah.
I don't have to go like this and the people know that I have color.
Well, imagine being I'm brown now, pecan tan, but in the wintertime, I'm a little bit lighter, and I've grown up not fitting in, she thinks she's cute because of this, she thinks she's cute because of that, or you're too light skinned, or they used to call my sister Big Red.
Because you're in the middle. We're in the middle.
Yeah. And they didn't realize I thought I was cute because I am cute,
Has nothing to do with your color.
That's right. It's just who I am. My
That's
mother
right.
was a beautiful woman. She was the first black model for Macy's.
Wow.
Way back in the day. So I'm not going to fall too far from the tree. I got my father's little attitude, but I'm not going to fall too far. But, growing up, people say, they picked on me because I'm dark-skinned. Well, they picked on me because I was light-skinned. That's just the nature of the beast.
That's a whole nother show.
But
that's right.
But that's what the system does. See, as long as we fight over different shades, then we never focus on the real issues.
That's right.
That's
right.
They could pay us minimum wage. They could do this, do that, take away
That's
your
right.
homes, do all that stuff because we're arguing over something that means absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
Eva, you have some time to hang out with us for a few more minutes?
Sure.
Good. We'll be right back.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Old Spice body spray will make you feel so powerful to blow your mind right in front of your face. Goodbye. Oh no! Power!
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
Try this routine to feel fresh and clean. Pair Charmin Fresh Mates with your Charmin.
Old Spice body spray is too powerful to stay in its own commercial. That's right. Power!
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Welcome back to Body Shop TV. My name is Sheila Chella.
My name is Body Mechanic. You know, I brought durian, but now I have like this funky looking coconut thing.
It's not funky looking. I brought it because it's too hard. I was trying to make a hole in it. It's like mad hard. Can you?
You said it's mad and it's hard too?
It's mad hard. Can you,
that sounds like text tone.
can you put a hole in it for me?
OMG. LOL. LOL coconuts. What?
Thank you.
Wait, what? How am I supposed to open a coconut with my hands?
Because you're the body mechanic. You can do anything, body mechanic.
Well, I am Black Bond. Yes.
Eva, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you want to say something?
God, you just want it all to yourself. I know you, Jesus Christ, superstar.
Eva, in light of your past, have you done any work with young people or your peers?
Pay for it.
Paid for it.
Well, yes, I have. I used to do a lot of work when I was in Narcotics Anonymous. I was the GSR of Suffolk County, which is like the lawyer for the Suffolk County groups. And I left NA because they were cursing too much. And a lot of the meetings are in a church.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised, you don't cuss in the house of God. So I left there and I went back to church.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing, they make you cuss. Be honest and shame the devil.
Does this say that? Does this say that in the Bible? Thou shalt not curse.
No, but it was just like unnecessary stuff they were cursing because I have my flaws and sometimes I use uncommon vernacular. But I left.
It's funny.
I left the rooms and I went back to church, and you know, I know the church, they say it's a hospital now, but it is a mega hospital because when you go there, people in there will really make you want to.
Well, it's my understanding that profanity is an extreme emotion. And I know that our language is challenged because it can't really, there's just some things that you feel that you just can't express in normal words.
But isn't it just an excuse?
No, but I'm serious. It is an extreme emotion. It's just that's what profanity is. Usually when it's used in something they really want.
Yeah, but this wasn't even extreme. But I agree with you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Like sometimes you have a feeling and like you can't even find a word for it.
Right.
So then what you say?
Well, usually mine is directed at someone. Usually that's what happens with me. I'm not one to go, oh, I'm usually like, and it comes out here.
I hear you.
And you know, it's just very, very interesting. We do, I don't know. But back to the drugs and the alcohol thing. That was, and I pray that no one, and I mean this seriously, that no one ever allows himself to test something like that. Like they have this, what is this stuff called that they're using now?
Crystal
mescaline?
Methamphetamine?
Yes.
Or oxycodone or?
Well, let me tell you an experience about oxycodone. I can tell you that. That was my last drug use. And it wasn't, that just happened last year. It wasn't, I had bad knees and my knees were hurting me. So my cousin said, I have something for you to help your knees. So she says, but you got to go home and take it. And I took it. And then I was like, what the heck is this? And she comes to my house to see if I'm okay. And I was leaning on my wall. I couldn't even get to my front door to let her in. I was like, what did you give me? Oh, that's oxycodone. I was like, what? I mean, but it taught me a lesson. Don't take no pills from nobody you don't know what they do.
What was it like?
I didn't know what it was like because I didn't know where I was at in my own living room.
It was like that?
I have, like I said, I have bad knees, and sometimes it feels like a razor's being cut right across your knees. And she said, I got something for it, but I thought, Advil, I didn't know what it was.
No,
I
it
just
numbs
took
you.
it.
That stuff numbs you. It disconnects you from your body.
Yeah, because I was leaning on my wall in the hallway, and I couldn't get to my front door. I was like, what is this? And she said, I just came to see if he's right. She should have told me what it was before, and I should have asked.
Right.
But I know that's not anything. But that methamphetamine, I've never tried that, but I see people doing it, and they end up killing the family member because they're so high. Come on, who wants to do
No.
it?
It creates evil behavior. It makes
Right.
you do. That's what it does. This is what all drugs do. And like for instance, even prescription drugs do the same thing.
Yes.
There was a lady in my building in her 80s, and somebody says, I said, have you seen Mary lately? Because very, very astute, very sharp lady.
Uh-huh.
And they said, no, but she's losing it. I said, what? So I go visit her in her house. She's sitting in there, and she's like, did you see that? I'm like, see what? She's there in the closet.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think I saw her a couple days later in the lobby of my building, and I knew that if she was lacking certain minerals, I said, you need a juice, Mary. And I said, there's a place right down the block. I told her where it was. It was literally like a couple blocks away. She could walk there. And she said, let me go upstairs and get some money. Because she trusted me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, here's some money. Go get some juice. And from that, drinking that one juice, she started drinking every day. She was off those drugs within 3 or 4 days, and she no longer had that ghosting. She was literally thought there were people walking around in her house and hiding under the bed. She was walking with me around her apartment and like, I think they're under the bed. And I thought she was kidding at first.
Wow.
That's prescription drugs. And sugar does the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I juice. I do all superfoods. I do mushrooms. I do bee pollen. I do phytoplanktons. I do sea vegetables like bladderwrack and sea moss.
Oh, yeah, I've been hanging with Mimi, juicing.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I love kale and pineapple together. It's delicious.
Wow.
Really delicious. But I just don't understand. Well, I do understand because it happened to me. When your mind says, just try it, see what it's like, because it's becoming like this big fad. And I learned from the crack era about big fads. Forget it. You know.
Well, it's not a fad. It's still here.
No, well, it
I mean,
ain't
but
here.
not in your world.
Not
but
in my world no more. Praise God. But when I was watching the cop shows, and I remember this cop got killed. This police officer got killed because the guy was on methamphetamine, and he started fighting the cop and just shot him because he wanted to go get some more drugs. Now, that's crazy.
He shot the cop.
He kills him.
Yeah.
Because what is going to happen to your life after? I mean, I don't want anybody to shoot anybody, but what goes on after in your life, you know? And the same with the drugs. You know, I was sitting there paranoid every day.
You were not you, and that's exactly what happens.
I would come home on a train. I remember one time, this guy I knew that lived out in Amityville, he sold drugs, and he came to the train station, and I swapped him a 20 right there at the ticket window. And couldn't wait to get home.
Wow.
It's horrible.
So you were a functional addict.
For a while I was.
Yeah, but eventually
it'll stop the presses on you, and you're not functional. You're like, you know, I was missing trains. I'm calling my job at 6 o'clock. Tell them I have to call off.
Eva, we've run out of time. I really enjoyed having you on
Thank
our show.
Thank you.
Learned so much about you and appreciate your journey. Maybe we could have you back at another time where your voice is better, where you can sing.
One day. And it was a pleasure being here.
Oh, awesome.
I had more fun than I thought I would. And it feels good. Every time I let that conversation go, it takes weight off of me.
That's good. We have a T-shirt contest going on. The deadline is September 15th.
What? Don't do that.
And we're going to celebrate. What'd you say?
Is it a wet T-shirt?
Yes.
Woo!
And I'm going to have the spritz bottle.
Our Touch Sensorium is September 15th. Be there at Jewel, 7 to 10 p.m. on September 15th.
God, Chelsea's working. That's next week?
No, pretty soon. Say goodbye.
That's next.
Have a great week.
Ciao, ciao.
Love hard and kiss long.
Yes.
Bye-bye.